The fourth and most critical factor in why the economy is going to reopen is in our president, Donald Trump. First of all, we have to appreciate
the president is first and foremost a businessman. And when Wall Street talks, well, he listens.
That's what he ran on. That's what he got elected on. And if the economy fails, you can bet your bottom dollar he is out of there. See ya later. And he can't really afford that because there's a lot of criminality around his presidency. He's got people sitting in jail right now for him, keeping his secrets. And if he doesn't get reelected, they don't get pardoned, and they will probably turn state's evidence.
Now, we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours. What's it gonna be?
He really can't afford that. Which brings us to the second factor in why Donald Trump is going to reopen and push to reopen the economy. And that is that his decision-making process leaves something to be desired. And he's looking at the situation in simplest terms because he's a simple individual.
Can you say, sir, what metrics you will use to make that decision?
The metrics right here. That's my metrics. That's all I can do.
What?
And I didn't think of it until yesterday. I said, this is a big decision.
No. What is this?
I will say this. I want to get it open as soon as we can. We have to get our country open, Jeff.
Yo, killing me with this.
It breaks down into certainty. He is certain that if the economy doesn't reopen, the economy is going to suffer, evidenced by what's happening right now. He's certain of that. Now, because he doesn't trust his advisors and doctors and science, he's uncertain that by reopening the economy, there will be a second wave, bigger than the first, of infection across the country that will effectively cripple America's ability to respond to the infection. Hospitals will become overwhelmed. Supplies that are already limited will be gone. And the number of deaths affiliated with COVID-19 is going to skyrocket. He looks at that as uncertain because it hasn't happened yet and because he doesn't trust anyone besides himself in making decisions. All the advisors and doctors in the world could not convince him that the coronavirus was real until people started dying.
The virus. They're working hard. Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away.
And now he's not convinced that this is going to kill millions of people if we don't practice social distancing. So you can pretty much rest assured that we're going to reopen the economy. And last, but certainly not least in his decision tree, is who is being most affected.
The chronic burden of medical ills is likely to make people of color, especially, less resilient to the ravages of COVID-19. Social distancing and teleworking we know are critical, and you've heard Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci talk about how they prevent the spread of coronavirus. Yet only 1 in 5 African Americans and 1 in 6 Hispanics has a job that lets them work from home. People of color are more likely to live in densely packed areas and in multi-generational housing situations, which create higher risk for spread of a highly contagious disease like COVID-19.
Who's at risk? Elderly and minorities. And I promise you this conversation is happening, if it hasn't already, in his war room. Who is most affected? Old people, minorities, black folks, Latinos, brown people.
Tough break, nigga. It's always food.
He's sitting somewhere thinking, miracles really do happen. Thank you, God, because he knew he wasn't getting the black vote anyway. He knew he wasn't going to get a lot of the brown people's votes anyway. The progressive minority votes, he wasn't getting those. So he's like, to hell with them. He caught a break. In states where it's going to be close and the black vote or the minority vote could be the difference between whether or not he carries a specific county or state is in jeopardy, and there's fewer black votes in that neighborhood or region or county because of COVID-19, he's going to take that and run with it. So it's not right, but that's who we have in office, and that is why Negrodamus has come to the conclusion that the economy will be reopened in May. Now, I know that's bad news. I hope that everyone out there is being safe, doing everything you can to practice social distancing and strengthen your immune system, because it looks like this is going to get rocky. The CDC's original projection of somewhere between 140 million to 212 million Americans becoming infected is probably closer to the reality, which translates into millions of deaths. So make sure that you're not the slowest gazelle, the weakest link, and start eating healthy, cut out all that garbage food,